Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, on 5th November 2024, the United States of America went to the polls. And within a very short time, it was very clear that Donald Trump was headed for a victory. But in Kenya, something very interesting was taking place. Kenyans were celebrating Donald Trump's win and were actually demanding for the resignation or for the recall of the US ambassador to Kenya, whom they referred to as the rogue ambassador.
Tell the rogue ambassador, Kenya is not United States. Kenya is not a colony of United States. Keep your mouth shut when you hear. Otherwise, you will call for your recall back to your country. I think.
And then Kenyans sustained the hashtag Resign Meg Whitman. And Meg Whitman was defiant at that particular time. And she reminded Kenyans that there is nothing they could do about her.
This is for entertainment purposes only. So family, I've reread Meg Whitman's resignation letter. And I actually think she either received intel or she was told to resign. Like she was forced out. Either the backlash or the Democrats told her to go. Someone has told her to pack. Because a couple of days ago, when hashtag recall Meg Whitman hit like 1 billion impressions, she released a statement saying that there's nowhere Kenyans, literally saying there's nowhere Kenyans will take her, and she was appointed by the US president, and it's only the US president who can remove her, and literally she was just saying a big F you to us.
So yesterday, when the news about the resignation of Meg Whitman emerged in Kenya, I remember a friend of ours sharing it on our WhatsApp group. And most people were like, is this true or false? It emerged that indeed, it was true that Meg Whitman had resigned. And Kenyans really celebrated. Let me just read for you what Okeya Omtata posted. You caused so much pain, Meg Whitman. Sided with our oppressors and applauded them as they murdered protesters on the streets. Stood silently as others were abducted and disappeared. And now, as you resign and go home, we are firmly closing the door behind you. You are not welcome back into our country. I want to reveal to you guys why Meg Whitman resigned. But first of all, let us go through the statement which she released yesterday. Before we do that, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in, but again, before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity to introduce you guys to Lemfi. Lemfi is a mobile money app for users in the UK, Canada, and the United States of America to send money back to Kenya. They offer the best exchange rates, and the money will be delivered instantly into your M-Pesa account, Airtel Money account, and of course, if you want, directly into your bank account. You can use the link in the pinned comment to download the app. Ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. First of all, let us go through the statement by Meg Whitman, which states, statement by the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman. I have some flu, so you'll excuse me a bit. November 13th, which was yesterday. Today, I announced to my team at the US Embassy that I submitted my resignation to President Biden. It has been an honor and privilege to serve the American people through strengthening our partnership with Kenya. I am proud of leading a people-centered agenda that saves life, increases security, and creates economic opportunity for Kenyans and Americans. From delivering emergency funding to alleviate catastrophic flooding in 2023 to the ongoing fight against malaria, HIV, and mpox, the US government prioritizes the health and welfare of our friends in Kenya. This year, the United States elevated Kenya as the first major non-NATO ally in sub-Saharan Africa, reflecting the importance our countries place on standing shoulder to shoulder to protect our shared democratic values and enhance security. My efforts also opened the door for more American companies to do business in Kenya. When I arrived in 2022, I focused on expanding these ties with my Why Africa, Why Kenya presentation to American companies and entrepreneurs. Trade, jobs, and US investment in Kenya are at historic high because of our efforts. We also responded to skyrocketing demands of our consular services, reducing wait time for non-immigrant visas, appointment for more than 2 years to about 2 months, among other enhancements. Like all US ambassador, I serve at the request of the president. The American people have spoken, and a new president will be inaugurated in January. I wish him and his new team success. Our embassy benefits from highly skilled Kenyan and American employees who will continue their effort under the leadership of Change the Affair Mark Dillard to advance the shared goals on which our bilateral relationship has long been grounded. I have no doubt that our 60 years of partnership will continue to strengthen and serve American and Kenyans as we aim to build more prosperous, healthy, secure, and democratic nations. Our relations are stronger than ever, and I'm confident this trajectory will continue. I will depart Kenya full of gratitude for the team that has worked tirelessly on my behalf, for the opportunity to serve my country, and for the friendship offered by government and the people of the beautiful Republic of Kenya. Now, that's the statement by Meg Whitman. The truth of the matter is that Meg Whitman probably decided to resign before the new administration. We all know that Donald Trump won the presidency, and normally it's the norm for the ambassador to stay until a new one is brought on board. So the question remains, why do you think Meg Whitman decided to resign immediately, not to wait until when a new ambassador is sent to Kenya? For me, I think as a result of the following. Number one, the global impact of Donald Trump's election is being felt. If you followed the US elections, the Democrats and the Republicans, their foreign policies, especially the ones under Donald Trump, is going to be totally different. Meg Whitman was a key player in the Democratic Party, because remember, this was one of the billionaires who funded the campaign. And because she was deeply involved, and we are going to witness a shift in foreign policies. For example, if you followed the deployment of Kenyan police to Haiti, it's a subject which I think Donald Trump will definitely reverse. Let us wait and see. But I think the global impact, I'm not so sure whether it is only Meg Whitman who has resigned, because America probably has ambassador all over the world. But I strongly believe that this is just as a result of the global impact of Donald Trump elections.
So let's talk about Meg Whitman and the dollar. A few of us, or many of us, have been having a lot of opinions about this particular woman, the ambassador to Kenya. Now, if you know, you didn't know, Meg Whitman vied for governor position of California under the Republican Party. So the question is does she still have roots within the Republican Party to continue to be employed or to be placed as ambassador to Kenya, or will she be put away when Trump comes to power? Now, about the dollar. Come next year, we do know that Trump's heart is for the American people, is for the American people's businesses, and is for the American person's taxpayer. So, wewe na tunajua next year, hata saa hii imeshaanza, the dollar will be protected at all costs. So, what does that mean for the Kenyan markets and the other currencies that we use or we are dependent upon? Will the shilling depreciate or will the shilling appreciate? So, let's wait and see how that will happen.
Number two, I'm 100% sure that immediately Donald Trump won the election, he was briefed about the Kenyan demands to recall or for the recall of the US ambassador to Kenya. I'm 100% sure. And as a result of that, either silently Meg Whitman was requested or forced to resign, either by the new administration or the Democrats, because, the kind of friendship he had with the Kenyans was not good for the image of the Democrats. Because remember, just yesterday, Biden and Trump held a meeting. Is it possible that those demands were placed on Biden's table to recall some of those allies, some of his people, before Donald Trump comes in? So there's a possibility that Donald Trump was briefed after Kenyans made noise. And the noise which Kenyans made, I'm 100% sure, did not go in vain. America has one of the most and respected intelligence system. So they know that Kenyans really hated the rogue ambassador. Number three, probably, Meg Whitman also knew. She already knew that her fate was sealed. So she didn't see the need of waiting. Maybe resign and start looking for other opportunities elsewhere. And I don't know, but probably this is one of the worst US ambassador to Kenyans, because, US ambassadors to Kenya have always been known to stand with the people and for the people. They've always been the face of democratic values. Meg Whitman didn't spare a time for that. She didn't. And because of that, I think she just had to go. But why do you think Kenyans were really celebrating her departure yesterday? And today, Kenyans are still celebrating. Why? Number one, Meg Whitman committed a very big mistake, and I think she will live to regret. Meg Whitman refused to call William Ruto's government out on police brutality. It even reached a point when the other ambassadors to Kenya, issued a joint statement. But Meg Whitman refused to be part of that team. She refused to be part of that team. And she never appended her signature to that statement. Kenyans took note. And Kenyans were very angry and bitter. Remember, there's no point in time in Kenya when the rage of Kenyans was so high, the way they were during the Gen Z protest. And then the police brutality made the Kenyans to be very angry. In fact, if William Ruto were to lose election in 2027, it would be as a result of the police brutality. It's only recently when we started hearing the US taking the issue of abductions seriously. Probably after they knew that a new administration was coming on board. Number two, Kenyans are also still very bitter with Meg Whitman over the 2022 presidential elections. Most Kenyans are still convinced that Meg Whitman interfered with the outcome of that election. That's the fact. And of course, Kenyans also view Meg Whitman as an enabler of impunity in Kenya. When William Ruto went to the United States of America, the intention was to raise his profile globally. But a lot of things were happening locally. A lot of things. So which means Meg Whitman did not care about the local things here. She only cared about raising the profile of William Ruto at the international stage. And therefore, most Kenyans view Meg Whitman as part and parcel of that impunity. For example, how did the US government allow Kenya, for example, the chief story? And lastly, the rage of Kenyans against Ruto government is still very high. And because Meg Whitman is associated with William Ruto's victory, Kenyans are extending it to her. Ladies and gentlemen, what is your take on Meg Whitman's resignation? For me, I'm so happy. Let a new ambassador come who can at least work with the government, raise the profile of Kenya internationally, but at the same time, help Kenyans in as far as the fight against corruption is concerned, the democratic values, and of course, check on government excesses. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye, and I hope you enjoyed the video.